Now, Boris Johnson has been warned that money alone won't be enough to fulfil the government's promise to level up the north if the decisions over how it's spent are still taken in Westminster. Well, this week we visited an area of Sheffield once famous for police clashes with the miners under Margaret Thatcher's government to see what can be done and to hear what more is needed. In 1984, Orgreave in South Yorkshire was the scene of some of the bitterest clashes during the year-long miners' strike. When the pits closed, communities suffered and many feared for the future of the entire region. But 35 years on, this area has undergone a remarkable transformation.
The first thing we've done here is we've converted this vehicle into an electric vehicle. It's got a Siemens motor and a battery pack in here.
Today, Orgreave is the home of Sheffield University's Advanced Manufacturing Research Centre, and it's helping put Britain out front in the competitive market of precision engineering.
This site has been a hotbed really for industry, research and translational skills to come together. So on this particular site we've got manufacturing sites with McLaren building carbon fibre tubs, we've got Boeing building components for their 737 and 767, we've got Rolls-Royce building casting for their aerospace industry.
The boss here insists that with proper funding, it is possible to repeat the success across the entire north of England.
We've understood what are the critical components you need for innovation-led regeneration. So in our learning, it's around having the right fundamental research, which we have lots of in the UK. It's one of our strengths globally is our fundamental research. It's then having the right industrial partners who are pulling that innovation into UK manufacturing and global manufacturing. It's then having skills that we have here at the AMRC, being able to translate research into production. And proof that early investment in innovation pays dividends can be found just down the road. This high-tech tool company was founded by a former member of the Advanced Manufacturing Research Centre. It uses their know-how to win huge contracts against multinational competitors.
We're doing fantastically well. We offer a wide variety of service to our customers. We export globally. We've actually recruited 6 since the initial lockdown began in March. Biggest 2 customers direct are Rolls-Royce and Siemens, and through them we export all over the world.
It's the success of northern companies like this that the government is now trying to build on. The Conservatives won the last election thanks to dozens of traditional Labour seats in the industrial heartland of the north turning blue, many for the first time. Since then, they've repeatedly insisted they would repay that newfound loyalty with more investment. And last Wednesday, the Chancellor made a commitment of more money for the region.
People want to be able to look around their towns and villages and say, yes, our community, this place, is better off than it was 5 years ago. For too long, our funding approach has been complex and ineffective, and I want to change that. Today, I'm announcing a new Levelling Up Fund worth £4 billion.
Nick Fletcher is one of the new intake of Tory MPs. He's the first ever Conservative to win the Labour stronghold of Don Valley in South Yorkshire. So you left school at 15, is that right?
I left school at 15. I did an electrical apprenticeship and I was made redundant when I was 21, which was 1994, which is quite a tough time. I couldn't get a job. I did try to get a job at the time, but there was none forthcoming. So I decided to have a go at self-employment. And my company's just celebrated 26 years in business, so it's definitely been a good thing.
What does levelling up mean to you?
It can take many forms. People desperately need to feel as though the government cares about the people in the north. I think they feel as though they've been left behind for such a long time, and everything happens in the south, or that's at least how they feel, and there's definitely a certain amount of truth in that.
So how did the Chancellor's announcement go down with the manufacturing sector in the north?
First of all, I'm really enthused and excited it's on the agenda, because it's high time it was. Listening to the first bits of feedback that are coming through for the press in the last few days, I'd say my first glance it's probably not enough, but I think at least it's on the agenda, it's on the horizon, and if that changes, hopefully it'll speed up and increase.
But for many people here, it's not just about the money. There's an increasing demand that if cities like Sheffield are to reverse the decades of decline, then decisions about investment and funding should happen locally and not through central government.
If you still have power centralised in Whitehall, if your Levelling Up Fund is a beauty pageant for projects and for parts of the North and the Midlands to kind of parade in front of officials, that's not really trusting people, and it's not really giving power back to people. And if the call that people made when they said they wanted to take back control was about more than just Europe, and I think it was about more than just Europe, then the problem is, even if you're more generous financially, if you don't trust people, if you don't give them real power, then I don't think that really does start to close the divide between North and South.
There's clearly a huge amount of economic potential in the north of England, and this government has repeated its commitment to level up. But serious questions remain about the level of investment and also the amount of control that Westminster will continue to exert. And the stakes are really high. If Boris Johnson gets it wrong, then the people who lent him their votes last time could disappear.
I think if you borrow votes and if you promise people in your acceptance speech as Prime Minister that you're going to level up the country, and then you fail the North and the Midlands, and you go back to type and think that Whitehall has all the answers and ignore the people who put you there, then you'll pay the price at the ballot box, yes.